It was a Tuesday night, the kind that drags on endlessly after a grueling day at work. My phone had been buzzing incessantly with company emails, each one more demanding than the last, and all I wanted was to get home, crack open a beer, and let the world fade away for a few hours. The thought of sinking into the couch, the cold bottle in hand, was the only thing keeping me going as I pulled into the driveway. But the moment I stepped through the front door, something felt off. There, sitting innocently by the stairs, was Sarah's purse. A sleek leather thing she never left behind. My heart stuttered. She wasn't supposed to be home. She'd told me she was away on a team-building retreat with her coworkers, some corporate nonsense that was supposed to last another 2 days. I stood there, keys still in hand, staring at that purse like it was a riddle I couldn't solve. "Sarah!" I called out, my voice echoing through the too-quiet house. No response. The silence pressed against my ears, thick and unnatural. I set my bag down, my movements slow, deliberate, as if I could delay whatever was waiting for me. Then I heard it, a faint whisper, followed by a soft laugh drifting down from the upstairs hallway. My stomach lurched, a cold, sinking feeling that spread through my chest like ice water. Something primal kicked in, a mix of dread and certainty I couldn't shake. I started up the stairs, each step silent, my breath shallow, every nerve in my body screaming what my mind refused to accept. The bedroom door was ajar, just enough to let sound spill out. Her voice, low and playful, intertwined with his, a deeper tone I knew too well. Moans followed, unmistakable, cutting through the air like a knife. I didn't burst in, though every muscle in my body ached to. Instead, I nudged the door open a fraction more, just enough to see without being seen. And there they were. Sarah, my wife of 7 years, straddling him, her head thrown back in laughter, and him, Ryan, my best man at our wedding, my friend since we were kids trading baseball cards in middle school. The sight burned itself into my brain, her bare shoulders, his hands on her hips, the casual intimacy of it all. I don't remember backing away. Don't recall my feet hitting the stairs as I retreated. My vision blurred, my fists clenched so tight I could feel the sting of my nails breaking skin. I stumbled outside, the cool night air hitting my face like a slap, because if I'd stayed inside I would have killed them. I mean that literally. My hands were shaking with the urge to destroy, to erase them both from existence. I stood in the driveway, chest heaving, heart hammering like a war drum, trying to pull air into my lungs. That's when Eli's truck rolled up. Eli, another lifelong friend, the guy who could read me like a book without me saying a word, took one look at my face and knew. He slammed his door shut, strode over and said, "Who?" His voice was sharp, a single syllable loaded with everything he didn't need to ask. I couldn't speak, couldn't form the words. I just jerked my head toward the house, my arm trembling. His jaw tightened, eyes narrowing as he pieced it together. "Not just some guy," he said, half to himself. "Someone you know." "Ryan," I spat, the name tasting like bile. "Jesus Christ," he muttered, dragging a hand over his mouth. He studied me, his gaze flicking over my clenched fists, the wild look in my eyes. "You were going to go back in there and do something stupid, weren't you?" I didn't answer, didn't need to. He stepped closer, voice low but firm. "Don't. Not like this, buddy. They're not worth you throwing away 10 years in a cell. Give me one night. I've got a plan, a good one." I stared at him, the rage still boiling, but there was something in his tone, a steely calm that hooked me. "What kind of plan?" Eli's lips curled into a smile, not warm, not friendly, but the kind of grin a predator flashes before it strikes. The kind that ruins them forever. We ended up in Eli's garage, a cluttered sanctuary of power tools, faded baseball trophies from our high school days, and a battered whiteboard propped against the wall. He grabbed it, dusted it off, and uncapped a marker with a sharp pop. In big, bold letters he wrote one word, leverage. "You don't hit them," he said, tapping the board with the marker. "You bury them in their own mess. No fists, no blood, no cops, just consequences they can't escape." I wasn't calm, not by a long shot. The image of Sarah and Ryan was still seared into my mind, their laughter echoing in my skull, but Eli's focus was like a lifeline. I latched onto it. "We get leverage," he said again, "and then we take everything they think they've got coming to them, reputation, jobs, dignity. All of it. First step, documentation." Eli handed me a cheap burner phone he'd picked up somewhere. "Start recording," he instructed. "Texts, voicemails, screenshots. Anything she sends you. If she lies, it's just more rope to hang her with. I already had a head start. Calendar entries marked team retreat. Hotel receipts she didn't know I'd seen through our shared credit card account. And that shaky, blurry video I'd captured through the bedroom door before I fled. But Eli wanted more. Insisted on building a case so airtight it could have gone to trial. We sat there hunched over his workbench as I scrolled through my phone, pulling every scrap of evidence I could find. He showed me how to upload it all to a cloud drive, naming folders with dates and times, serialize Ryan text September 2nd, 25, until it felt less like a betrayal and more like a science project. Cold, methodical, surgical. Step 2 was trickier. Exposure without blowback. Eli knew Ryan's life inside out, knew he worked at Prestige Financial Group, a slick advisory firm with a reputation to uphold. More importantly, he knew Ryan had signed a morals clause in his contract. A little detail buried in the fine print that could tank his career if he got caught in anything shady. "We need to bait him," Eli said, leaning back in his chair, arms crossed. "Make his personal screw-up a professional liability." He set up a fake email account, and we drafted a message to send to Ryan's HR department. But we didn't hit send, not yet. Eli wanted undeniable proof, something that tied Ryan's affair to his job, something he couldn't talk his way out of. "Why wait?" I asked, impatient. "Because," Eli said, "we're going to make him brag about it first." The opportunity came faster than we expected. Pete, a mutual friend oblivious to the drama, was throwing a birthday party that weekend. Ryan would be there. Sarah would be there. And so would we. Eli's plan was simple but brutal. Let them think they'd gotten away with it. Let them get comfortable. Let the booze loosen their tongues. We rigged up a jacket with a tiny recording device sewn into the lining, set my phone to capture video from a discreet angle, and Eli wore a wire tucked under his collar. My job was to play dumb, smile, nod, act like the clueless husband who hadn't seen a thing. It made my skin crawl, but I trusted Eli. He'd feed Ryan drinks, steer the conversation, and wait for the bastard to hang himself. The party was loud, crowded, the kind of night where everyone's too buzzed to notice anything subtle. Sarah spotted me as I walked in, her face lighting up. Not with guilt but with relief, like she thought I was still in the dark. "You came," she said, wrapping her arms around me in a hug that felt like a lie. "Of course," I replied, forcing a smile so tight it hurt. "Wouldn't miss it." Ryan sauntered over a minute later, all cocky grin and outstretched fist for a bump. "Good to see you, man," he said, like he hadn't been screwing my wife in my bed 2 nights ago. I met his eyes, bumped his fist, and said nothing. An hour in, the trap snapped shut. Eli had Ryan on his 3rd whiskey, laughing too loud, words slurring just enough to lose his filter. The wire picked it up clear as day. "Man," Ryan chuckled, leaning against the kitchen counter. "I always said Jake didn't know what he had. She came to me, dude. I didn't even chase it. She begged me, swore she hadn't been satisfied in years." Sarah, perched nearby, giggled like it was a joke. "You're such an ass," she said, swatting his arm. Eli leaned in, casual as ever. "So what now? You think she'll leave him?" Ryan shrugged, smirking. "Won't need to. He'll fall apart eventually. Dude's soft." I stood across the room, pretending to check my phone, while every word twisted the knife deeper. But it wasn't pain anymore, it was fuel. That recording, raw and unfiltered, became the cornerstone of our case, labeled Leverage Exhibit A in the cloud drive. By Monday we were ready. The evidence was ironclad. Texts, receipts, timelines, and that damning party audio. I wasn't angry anymore. I was detached, operating on autopilot. Eli called it the eye of the storm. That eerie calm before everything unravels. "We ruin them quietly first," he said. "Then let the chaos finish the job." We started with Ryan. Eli packaged it all up. A flash drive with the party recording, screenshots of explicit texts sent from Ryan's work phone during business hours, a timeline linking his client lunches to Sarah's fake retreats. The cover letter was short, professional, devastating. "This is a matter of urgent ethical concern regarding one of your advisors, Mr. Ryan M. His conduct violates the moral standards outlined in your public code of conduct and reflects poorly on your institution. No threats, no blackmail, just the truth laid bare." We sent it anonymously to Prestige Financial's HR department via courier. No return address. Next came the social fallout. Eli had access to a private neighborhood forum, one of those online groups where suburbanites trade gossip under the guise of community updates. We didn't post the videos, too risky, but we dropped a seed. PSA. Before you hire a marriage counselor or trust your finances to someone local, make sure they're not sleeping with their best friend's wife. You'd be surprised how often it happens. Attached was a blurred screenshot of Ryan mid-sentence at the party, just recognizable enough to spark whispers. Within hours the thread exploded. Who is it? No way, I know him. What's the full story? And the rumor mill did the rest. The final move was mine. That night I walked into the house like nothing had changed. Sarah was in the kitchen, sipping wine, her posture relaxed, oblivious. "You're home late," she said, glancing up with a faint smile. I set an envelope on the counter. Divorce papers, thick and official. She froze, eyes darting to it, then to me. "What's this?" "A thank you," I said, my voice steady, "for showing me who you really are." She opened it, scanning the pages, her face paling as the reality sank in. "Jake, what?" "I know everything." I cut her off. "Ryan, the lies, the recordings. His job's gone by morning. You'll be lucky if anyone looks at you again." She stammered. "You recorded us?" "You can't legally." "I can," I said. "Morally. You lost that argument the second you let him into our bed." She reached for me, desperation in her eyes. "Jake, please. Save it. This isn't revenge anymore. It's just me cutting you out." I turned and left, her voice fading behind me. The aftermath was swift. Within 2 days, Ryan was on indefinite leave from Prestige. Word spread that clients were jumping ship, spooked by the scandal. Sarah's social circle evaporated. Texts went unanswered, invitations dried up. The prenup and adultery evidence gave my lawyer everything he needed to secure my assets and custody of our dog, Max, because even that mattered. But the real victory? They never saw it coming. I didn't yell, didn't fight, didn't give them the satisfaction of a showdown. I just dismantled their lives with precision and walked away. 3 weeks later, I moved into a small apartment, 900 square feet of bare walls and silence. It wasn't much, but it was mine. No echoes of betrayal, no ghosts in the corners. Sarah called once, left a voicemail whining that she didn't understand how I could let go. I deleted it without replying. Ryan's career imploded, his firm cut ties, clients sued, and he slunk back to his parents' house, social media wiped clean. The community turned on them both, whispers following them like shadows. Sarah's job held, but her life didn't, shunned at every turn. She became a pariah in her own world. I started therapy, ran 5 miles every morning, let the anger bleed out of me step by step. Revenge felt good at first, sharp and sweet, but the real peace came later. When I stopped caring if she called, stopped needing to win. Eli and I grabbed beers one night and he raised his glass. "To staying out of jail," he said. I laughed, but I knew it was more than that. It was to walking away from a life I'd mistaken for love, to letting them torch their own lies while I built something new. Was it justified? Too far? I don't know. But it was done and I was free.